Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Premier League Across the Podcast. I'm back this week. Fu, if anybody forgot about me. Joined by Joey and Josh. And before we get into it, I just want to quickly say, lads, you absolutely smashed it on the last episode. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed listening to it. It's good to know that if I'm away, that you two can, carry the podcast and do a fucking great episode. And shout out to Bryce as well. The Brighton fan. Yeah, he did. He did really well. And Bryce, mate, you're welcome back anytime. I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it on it last week though, because obviously he fucking drew with Liverpool. But a lot to get into this episode. Before we do the new segment that was introduced by Josh in the last episode, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, it's a really good one. It's Joey, Josh, and Bryce. So if you've not listened to that yet, go listen to that one and then come back to this. Josh has introduced trivia. So, Josh, if you want to explain how that's going to work, and then we'll go into it, mate.
Yeah, what's up, guys? We got a trivia time again. We had 10 questions last week, testing every bit of Premier League and football knowledge that you got. And I've come back with 5 questions this week. So I'm going to give the questions. Fu and Joey are going to think about their answers and then have the whole entire pod to really get down to the actual answer. And then I'll release the answers at the very end, go over and tell you what's going on. All right. So the first question I have is, can you name the top 5 Premier League grounds in terms of average attendance per game this season? Okay. So top 5 Premier League grounds by average attendance this season, and then the bottom 5 Premier League grounds by average attendance this season. Okay.
So mate. Don't even know what name 10 stadiums.
Right. You can just say the club. You don't even need the ground, but just the club. So average attendance, 5 best, 5 worst. Okay, then I'm going to name 3 players, and you're going to tell me what they share in common. Okay?
Okay.
Trevor Chalobah, Yoan Wissa, and Hwang Hee-chan. Okay. Next question is, which Premier League defender had this career path before joining the Premier League? So same as last week, I'm going to say all the clubs and then stop and not say the Premier League clubs. Benfica, Valencia, Inter Milan, Juventus, Premier League. So it's Benfica, Valencia, Inter Milan, Juventus, Premier League.
Did you say defender or player?
Yep, it's a defender.
Benfica, Valencia, Inter, Juventus.
Yep. And then the final question is, who has had more internationals play in the Premier League? The United States or Mexico?
Oh, more internationals playing in the Premier League.
It doesn't have to be someone who's actually debuted for the national team, just someone who's declared an international for that. So, like, Josh Russell am a U.S. international.
Wait, is that third question? Is that player still in the Premier League currently?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Premier League player.
Right. So I'm going for that. Guys, make sure if you are listening at home and you didn't hear those questions, you can rewind it back, answer them as well. Give it a little pause once he's asked the question so you can get your answer down. And then at the end, what he's going to do is he will reveal the answers. So just to go over them again, question 1, top 5 attendance. Question 2, bottom 5 attendance.
Yep.
Question 3 is the in common of the 3 players.
Yep.
Question 4, what was that again? Oh, the career path. The career path. And just for the listeners and for me as well, can you just repeat the clubs one more time?
Yep. Benfica, Valencia, Inter Milan, and Juventus.
Fucking hell, I literally haven't got a clue.
It's a quality question, mate.
Yeah, I'm probably going to lose my job as host of this, mate, because I think I've only got fucking 2 right. Right. Anyway, then, guys, as you think on those questions, I'm also going to be throughout the podcast thinking and writing my answers down. I've got the answers. Some of them just need to add in my stadiums. But without further ado, then we will get into it. Friday night football. Aston Villa lose to Southampton 1-0. And something that shocked me, I don't know if it shocked you two boys, but they decided to sack their manager. Smith is gone. After everything he's done, I don't know if you saw Grealish's tweet calling him the absolute GOAT. They've sacked him. We've seen a lot of managers sacked. Farke, which we'll get into. Obviously, Nuno. Probably Ollie will be next. And the Watford manager not too long ago. So, yeah, managers are dropping like flies at the minute, boys. But the Dean Smith one certainly was a shock. Don't know what you two make of that.
I'm not that surprised by it. I mean, he's done well, been at the club for a little bit and brought them up to the Premier League and gone through the near relegation season. But they were a bit better last year and just really haven't got onto the right foot this season and look like they really missed Grealish a bit. And when the results aren't coming, you're losing that many games in a row. It's, I think, not a bad time to get rid of the manager.
Yeah, and something that Dean Smith has talked about the whole year actually is that he's not used to a bigger squad and rotating a fair amount of players. Not that they're in, I guess, in excess of competitions, but having Grealish leave, somebody who's the first name on the team sheet every week, and then replacing him with Buendia and Bailey, who have both kind of been in and out, injured or not on form, and then you have El Ghazi, Bertrand Traore. I just think that he never, I guess, it is harsh. I mean, through 11 matches, he just didn't really find that group of core players that was producing week in and week out. And I will say, if that match on Friday night was the last straw, that was kind of tough because they absolutely dominated the second half, and especially the first 15 minutes. I mean, it was incredible that they didn't score. It was a combination of good goalkeeping from McCarthy, I guess just poor finishing or just being unlucky in general. But I do think Dean Smith probably earned more time in my book. But, the Premier League and football in general is a cutthroat business, full stop. So, what else can you expect, especially with a club that has so much investment right now and is really looking for results over anything?
Yeah, mate, I agree with you there. Like you say, cutthroat business. We see managers sacked for less. And we've seen managers that have done a lot worse, but are still fucking clinging onto that steering wheel. Won't name his name, but we know who I'm talking about. Yeah, but I mean, who takes that job though? There's links of Gerrard. Did see someone else linked, but I can't quite think who off the top of my head.
Denmark's international manager has been linked heavily to that job, but I just can't see him leaving. They're just on such good form right now ahead of the World Cup, and they breeze through their international window every time. So I think that's probably doubtful.
Yeah, I mean, Gerrard's heavy favorite. I just quickly looked up. I don't always keep track of the Villa manager position, but they say he's heavy favorite to be the next manager. And honestly, I think that's a good entry point for him in the Premier League as a manager. I thought maybe like a little bit, maybe Spurs would give him before Nuno. But I think Villa is a better club for him to have an entry point in the Premier League. And I think he'll be a successful manager. He did well at Rangers, and I think that would be a pretty good manager to get in. And they got, as at the position they're in, they got matches coming up against the relegation rivals. I hate to group them in with the relegation clubs, but I'm pretty confident they'll win those matches and avoid any real serious threat of relegation this season. So, you're coming in and you're really going to have to get wins and secure your job. But it's an enticing position, I think.
Yeah, I saw as well, maybe Lampard was linked to them, and also John Terry, who is an absolute savage on Twitter, by the way. Don't know if you've seen how mad he's been going, mate.
And he's just got verified as well.
Yeah, and he's absolutely taking corpses. But yeah, I think for Gerrard now, is he really going to leave Rangers at this point in the season? They're 4 points top of the Scottish League. Can't remember how well they're doing in Europa, but I feel like maybe he'll stick it out. And I've heard that Rangers want to keep him there till at least the end of this season. And then Lampard, obviously, I thought he did a good job at Chelsea. I thought it was unfair of them to sack him, but then obviously, it shows that they made the right choice with Tuchel then winning the Champions League. And John Terry, he's been around the Villa setup for a while now. So he knows how it runs there. He could potentially step in, but only time will tell, boys. We will move on to Saturday. Another manager very much in the firing line, losing 2-0 against Manchester City. Which, losing 2-0 against Manchester City doesn't sound too bad of a result, really. At Old Trafford, poor. But it's not even just a 2-0 result. Like, the overall performance from Man United was absolutely pathetic. I don't know if you boys watched it, but I'm looking at stats now, for example. They had one shot on goal, 33% possession in their own stadium against their Manchester rival. Just fuck it, mate. If that was Liverpool against Everton, I would be absolutely fuming. That was a disgrace to watch.
Yeah, it was quite an embarrassing and just a horror show in general from United. I mean, the 3-5-2, I guess it worked against Spurs. I mean, I think in even ways in that match they were sort of lucky because they've a couple of this, Ronaldo incredible finish, Cavani and Ronaldo's incredible link up play right for that goal. I mean, it's not really like I don't really think they dominated them the whole match. But anyways, they go out and, and it's just so negative you could tell after the first 5 minutes that it was just going to be one of those matches where City have about 500 more passes than United. I don't even know what the final stats were, but I mean, if you just solely look at the positions I'm looking at the heat map of Walker and Cancelo right now. I mean, they look like they're playing left wing and right wing. I think Cancelo had like 130 touches, and I think the bulk of them were probably in United's half. And then you look at United's heat map, and the only player that's across the halfway line is Ronaldo. So it's just a dreadful performance. But Ollie's at the wheel. Honestly, I think the rest of the league wants him in so badly. And that's all I have to say about this match.
Yeah, I feel like it was a bit like they knew they wanted to play defensive. They've had a little bit of success in the last few seasons against City playing defensive. I personally think that's the best way to play City, but not when you have Eric Bailly swinging his leg in the 7th minute.
Just Bailly things.
By the way, stinker from De Gea as well for the goal, mate. To let it go all the way through there, mate. Stinker from the whole defense to let that ball get through there.
I don't know what Shaw's doing. Maguire, they're thinking about their dinner tomorrow night or something when they're looking at the ball coming over.
Fat boy Shaw, mate. Best left back in the league, by the way.
But
Alberto Carlos.
It's shocking, but it was interesting. I didn't even think it went in when I was looking. It kind of looked like it was outside, and it was like a weird celebration, but it was the exact opposite of when a ball hits the side netting and everyone celebrates because they thought it went in. This one hit the side netting, or
nobody thought it went in.
Celebrated. I think United I said it last week. I thought City would win. I thank you, Joey, for saying that United weren't that good last week against Spurs. They were good. They just weren't unbelievable.
It was moments. We talk about moments. It's moments. And you have Ronaldo. He's
Spurs that made them look like that. It's not, I don't know. I feel worse as a Spurs fan knowing United beat us 3-0, and then they lost to Liverpool and City combined 7-0. It feels like we lost a combined 10-0. But yeah, I just don't think United have got the defense sorted out at all. I'm just looking, they've conceded in their last 14 home games. They haven't had a clean sheet in the last 14 all competitions. I mean, that's just poor, and fair play to City. They're right back on track and looking like a good side. And you really do have to compliment their defense, especially the fullbacks, like Joey said. Walker, Cancelo are quality. And it's also it's like barely even coming from like De Bruyne. It's coming from all around from City this year. So, they're really a strong side.
Mm-hmm. And look, but with regards to Ollie and United, they don't really have the best run coming up either. If you look, they've got Watford away, which should be a winnable game, and I'm seeing all over Twitter that apparently they're going to see how Ollie does in that to decide to sack him or not, mate, which is absolutely mental that the United manager career is potentially depending on how he does against fucking Watford. They've then got Villarreal away in the Champions League. We've seen in the Champions League, they obviously are doing okay. But again, as Joey said, United are very much moments. Ronaldo scoring late on again for them in the Champions League and salvaging a point always seems to happen for them. They've then got Chelsea away. Fucking, that could be an absolute slaughtering again. You know, other than Chelsea's blip against Burnley, which we'll get onto, they've been looking fucking ruthless. And then Arsenal. You know, if this was a couple months ago, we'd have said, yeah, United will batter Arsenal, but the form Arsenal are currently in, you look at that form and you think, surely one of those games will lead to his sacking. But, you know, we won't dwell on it too much. We spoke about it, you know, last week and whatnot with the Nuno thing. Any final points? I will say you
skipped around Champions League. Champions League is incredibly critical for them, and they're not secure at all yet. So they need to progress games. Tough game at Villarreal.
Yeah, I mentioned it, but that's when I said about moments. And Ronaldo will just fucking probably get a last minute to save it for them again. But to another team that has got rid of their manager, then boys, Daniel Farke left Norwich surprisingly after their first win. Weirdest decision. You must be thinking that was set up beforehand, because to sack your manager after winning their first Premier League game in fucking I don't know how many, and then to sack him just seems weird. Have they brought in a replacement? Does anybody know?
It's looking like Lampard is probably going to be the manager, which will be pretty interesting. I'd love to see Lampard there, but I mean, he's going to be a championship manager next season, so I don't. That's a bit opposite of the Villa job. I think, you know, you're probably going down at Norwich, so you got to batter the hatches and get ready for a life to come back up again.
I think the thing with Lampard is, at least what attracts him is that he knows he'll have time there. You know, because if he goes down, if Norwich do go down, when Norwich go down this year, he'll be able to say, you know, this isn't my fault. We got, what do they have? 5 points right now from their first 11 matches. So, I mean, he can just point to that easily. And obviously, they'll probably be favorites to come right back up, I think, as long as they don't lose like Pookie or I don't even really know who are considered their key players. Max Aarons, I guess. Limelu in midfield. I think the reason they sacked Farka in terms of the timing is because of the international break. Obviously, it just gives most time for that, first and foremost, for the manager to come in, and then for that manager to, you know, I guess start to instill their philosophy on the team, because obviously I don't think more than a handful of those players are going on going to an international camp. So they should have a lot of time to take advantage of that and try to put in their new game plan or footballing philosophy. So I think that it is such odd timing. But I guess that's the idea behind it. It makes sense, I think, but we'll have to see how it fares.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to them though, getting the win. I'm disappointed, to be fair. Me and you both said that we wanted them to go winless all season, because that would have been funny. But quick word on Brentford.
The points record.
Yeah, quick word on Brentford. Me and Josh obviously had them to go down. Joey was giving it big licks about, I called them 15th. Look how good they are. Mate, look at how fucking shit they've been lately. Is it four losses in a row now?
Yeah, their last win was against us, where they pipped us at the last moment at the London Stadium. What's the striker's name? He scored 2 late winners. Yeah, Wissa, Johan Wissa. Wissa, yeah. And he, But I think a big thing is with Raya having been out, I think his distribution from that goalkeeping position is really actually very good. And he helps them both play out of the back, but also, switch the field and play the ball to that next wing back, whoever it is. I forget who plays on the right, but I know it's he scored actually this weekend, the left wing back.
What, Henry?
I'm blanking. Yeah, Rico Henry. Yeah, he's good at switching the field, and then they can kind of play from there and break quickly. But I think Fernandez, this new goalkeeper, just isn't quite as good at that. And they've had a couple turnovers of possession because of that. And obviously, he just doesn't have those cat-like reflexes. So I think that Raya, and he's out for several months. I think that really hurts them, and now it does really put them in danger of relegation, at least a definite battle. So,
yeah,
Josh, what did you think about that?
Yeah, I continue to be surprised by them. Like I just didn't rate Norwich to beat them, and maybe they're not good enough against the bottom dwellers is a pretty negative sign. And I think I really not sure Norwich are that good. Like Krul was pretty bad on that goal. I know he wasn't really helped out that much by his defense, but he like kind of came out to claim the cross and didn't do much. I don't know. You just figure Brentford are a better side based on their previous performances, but clearly didn't create enough to win that game.
Yeah, and I think 4 losses in a row now in the league, I think, for them.
It's certainly worrying, and they're going to have to turn it around at some point, but
yeah, definitely.
They showed it earlier. I think they're good enough to definitely stay up.
Quick one on Chelsea Burnley, boys. Burnley taking 2 points from Chelsea. I don't really know what more to say other than Josh trying it. Wow. Don't think anybody expected that, but
Chelsea had loads of chances, and they just did not capitalize on any of them. I mean, you would have thought they were up 3 or 4-0 based on the chances they had, but it just wasn't. It was like Werner in every single position, just missing. And fair play to Burnley. They got their 1 or 2 chances, and they put one in, and they'll take it. That's a huge point for them, and honestly, a huge point, obviously, in the title race for Chelsea. Looking back, you cannot be dropping it at home against Burnley. So definitely leaving the door open a little bit.
Yeah, we'll brush past Palace and Wolves. They obviously won 2-0, but I think it's fair to say we spoke about Palace plenty on this podcast. Brighton, Newcastle, though. Newcastle getting a draw there. Obviously, since the new owners, they've not really got any results. So good for them to get us a point, I suppose. But the main thing there from that game is Brighton's goalie is now going to be out for 3 games, I believe, as he got a straight red card. Against Liverpool, he was pretty shit anyway, very nervous on the ball. But I'm not sure if you two know who Brighton's backup goalie is. Is that going to be a big blow for them, do you think?
It's Steele.
You have to know from FPL. If you're an avid FPL player, you'll know. I think it's Jason Steele is his name. No idea how good of a goalkeeper he is. But
So fantasy knowledge there, but yeah, just
it could be a significant drop.
It could be Dunk.
They might put Dunk.
Pretty good in the goal. Yeah, throw him back in.
Yeah, so surprising there. Just looking at it, it seems like it went crazy the last 15. They got 3 yellow cards and a red card. And then Newcastle will be absolutely delighted to obviously pick up that point. And whilst we're on Newcastle, Eddie Howe, now the manager. I think let's have a quick look at the table, but I think Eddie Howe, 5 points off the drop. I think Eddie Howe is, a pretty solid choice to try and help them stay up. He did wonders at Bournemouth. I think he left on his own accord, and he said he'd love to get back into management if it's the right choice, and if it's the right project. So obviously, when Newcastle come and offer you probably 15 million a year, you'd probably say it's the right choice, wouldn't you? So I'm excited to see how he does at Newcastle, to be fair. See how he gets St. Maximin playing, see if he can get Callum Wilson firing like we've seen in the last season. They might be an exciting team to watch now.
Exciting team. They're the only winless team in the league, but I think it's a good appointment.
Had a couple of good matches, though.
It's still winless through 11, and they're in the relegation zone. I think it's the right appointment for Newcastle currently. I like Eddie Howe. Not that long ago, I mean, he was. I think he was rumored with England. He's Spurs. And people kind of liked him. I always thought he did a really good job at Bournemouth. However, for the new Saudi owners and all the Newcastle supporters' ambition of being this Champions League team, Eddie Howe is not the manager that's going to take them there, I don't think. But Certainly, in 3, 4, 5 seasons, they'll be swinging for Mourinho or whoever to take them to the promised land. But
Mourinho will be about 90 then, mate. Fucking hell.
But yeah, I think it's probably right, to get them to stay up in the league and to build on the project they have going.
Just quickly on Eddie Howe, his time at Bournemouth. I mean, they did keep a couple clean sheets, I guess, but just looking back at kind of his time there, I was noticing the stats and all the score lines, and I mean, he's an attack first manager, and we've been going on, I feel like, at least I have, about how Newcastle need to shore up their defense, and they need, like, one of the things they need to do in the January window is sign another just solid defenders to make sure they stay up. But so I'm interested to see, I guess, that balance with Eddie Howe and how he comes in and what he prioritizes, because at the rate they just leak too many goals to to stay in the Premier League. So that has to be solved, and maybe, I guess, with the players he has, he can get them attacking again and scoring goals. And he's familiar with Callum Wilson and Ryan Fraser, people forget. So who knows if that relationship can kind of get back to that a lot of success they were having at Bournemouth. But they're definitely one to watch here, and they need to start picking up points soon, or else they're going to be looking up all the way from the bottom, and it's going to be too much to climb come the end of the year.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. But I do like Eddie Howe as manager. I like him as a bloke as well. Don't know him personally, but I love when he's on Sky Sports and whatnot. I'm hoping he does well. Yeah, let's see how he does. So on to Super Sunday then, boys. First 2 games were, to be honest, a little bit shite, but we'll talk about them nonetheless. Arsenal carrying on their good run of form, 1-0 win. I will say it, Watford, I think, definitely deserved a point out of the game. They played really well. They had chances. Arsenal obviously had the disallowed goal. Saka and Smith Rowe doing their little celebration, looking like fucking knobheads now. But yeah, 1-0. Obviously, Watford red card towards the end. I think that, kind of killed it for them.
Horrible call. Cannot believe that was a second yellow. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Honestly, mate, I can't even remember it now off the top of my head. I know that Kuka is a guy who fucking loves getting a card.
He swung his leg. Like, he looked like he was about to kick a 50-yard field goal, but he didn't make any contact. And whoever, like Lakanga, just twisted and shouted his way over. I don't know. I can't believe it was a yellow. But
come on, baby. And come on.
It did. I don't think it really impacted the match too much. I just think it was a bit of a harsh second yellow. But
yeah, I like say, yeah, it was obviously late on. Kind of killed their push in the extra time. But yeah,
Foster with a great penalty save.
Cycling
GK,
mate,
great save.
The
you know he's going to be saying as well, boys, that save was world class, absolute legend. But yeah, mad. And then Smith Rowe, fucking baller, getting a call up to the England squad, and rightly so. He's been brilliant for Arsenal in their current run of form, and even when they were absolutely shite, him and Saka were looking like the shining light. Even though Saka's kind of dipped a bit, Smith Rowe stayed consistent. And
I think Saka had a disallowed goal contribution.
Aubameyang
was offside. Yeah. Okay, goal. Yeah.
He scored one that was off.
Yeah,
it was a fun one, actually. Look at the highlights, because the goalkeeper was in front of the last defender. So the last defender was actually the one.
Yeah, people were going on about the last defender. Yeah.
Yeah, he took it off Aubameyang. If Aubameyang, because I think Aubameyang would have been able to get onto the end of that touch. It was a bit of a poor touch from Aubameyang, but he definitely would have been able to get to it and slide it. But I think Saka probably didn't realise he was offside because there was a defender on the line. But boys,
gotta give Arsenal a shout out. I mean, they got 20 points. 5th place. They're really turned it around, going a bit unbeaten in the league. Yeah. I'll say I'm still not convinced, but they've got, at least righted the ship from the beginning of the year, which you definitely have to give them credit for.
But they beat the teams that they're expected to beat. I mean, the performance against Arsenal last week, we talked about it. It was, they didn't really play that well in the second half. I mean, the performance against Leicester, they kind of got dominated a little bit, and they were maybe lucky not to concede. But again, they have a great young keeper. Looks like they have a good nucleus in defense with Tomiyasu, Ben White, Gabriel, and whoever's playing on the left, Tavares or Tierney. So I mean, like you said, they're getting better and they're getting the results that they should be getting. So let's see if they can kick on and when they play some teams higher up in the table.
Yeah. Speaking of which, their next game is against us, Liverpool, meaning they could potentially leapfrog us in the table, or we could humble them and show them what Arsenal really are. Only time will tell after the international break, but we'll move on to another London club. Kind of ruined the surprise of who it is. It's Josh's team, Tottenham. 0-0 against Everton. Everton obviously getting a red card. And Tottenham, we mentioned it before the start of the podcast, 0 shots on target against Everton, 0 shots on target against United, 0 shots on target against West Ham in the second half. 5 half shots without a shot on target. But we'll come to you, mate, to talk about that one, because it must be fucking painful to watch your team play like that.
It's grim. It's grim. I have to take the positives. We got a clean sheet finally. They're just the
skin of your teeth.
The attack fizzles out so much, and it's so disappointing when you have Son and Kane that the attack is that poor. But I was thinking it was more of like we're missing that creative midfielder. I don't even think it's that. It's a bit of everyone. They lose the ball, and we just don't create chances. Everyone is just poor in the attacking third. So it's pretty tough to watch, and it's definitely going to have to change. But it was thankfully only the first game under Conte in the Premier League. And Everton, honestly, were not too much more exciting, but they did have a penalty shot that got overturned on VAR. It was close. I think Spurs are a little lucky. Lloris is a little lucky that it wasn't a pen. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I think it literally could have gone either way.
The weirdest part about the decision was that they didn't give Everton the ball back afterwards. I think they should have been awarded a corner, or they should have had the ball, and instead they just let Tottenham
I didn't even realize
kick it away.
Yeah. But yeah, the rest of the match was just a little dull after that, and Holgate absolutely twatted our player and deserved a red card after coming on as a sub. But
awful challenge.
Oh yeah, everyone save that Holgate tackle. Save it in your head for when we talk about the West Ham game, okay? Just save it in your head, that Holgate challenge. All right.
Mate, so different.
Before we get on to the final game of Sunday, we'll quickly mention, I suppose, Leeds and Leicester 1-1. Main reason I want to talk about Leeds is just because Rafinha, mate, he's absolutely bored. Don't know if you saw what he was doing over the international break. He obviously made his debut for Brazil. I think in that time he got like 3, maybe 4 goal contributions in the 1, 2, maybe 3 games he played. But you've got to think, Leeds without Rafinha, where would they be? Do you know what I mean? He's absolutely carrying them, mate. He's pulling them out of so much shit, and he's just like, he's just really good. He's just so good to watch, isn't he? And I'd love to see him come to Liverpool. He'd be great cover for our wingers. He would probably even cover, Josh, don't jinx it with the Wi-Fi. He would probably even cover and challenge against Mane potentially on the wing. I know obviously he normally plays out on the right, but what a talent, boys.
Yeah, I feel like he could start just about anywhere in the Premier League. He's a great player. They're lucky to have him, and I think they might be lucky to keep him coming next few years.
Mate, he wouldn't start over Jared, Ari, and Bowen. That's all I have to say.
In that game, I do have to mention. I love Harvey Barnes, and that was a great finish into the top corner.
Harvey Barnes.
But he's had a bit of a shocker to start the year. Just not a lot of goal contributions. I'll be happy to score that one, and I don't think either team will be that upset with the draw. But
Leicester did have that goal ruled offside. Lookman's goal, I think just ruled offside by Vardy. So I mean, I think they'll be a little bit frustrated, especially they haven't won that much this year, and they kind of need to pick up those points. So, but at the end of the day, Ellen Road is a tough place to go and pick up all 3 points. Only massive clubs like West Ham can do that. So.
Quick one on Harvey Barnes. Actually, surprisingly, I actually thought he was injured for most of the season. I didn't realise that he's played 9 league games for them and made a fair few appearances. Been on the bench quite a bit, but Yeah, I thought he was out all season. If you look at his obviously output last season, but not even just that, just some of the performance he was putting in. I think he became probably the favourite midfielder over James Maddison by the way he was playing. And then he did get injured, but I didn't realise it didn't carry on to this season. But yeah, absolute baller. We'll see how Leicester can crack on because they're not doing too good at the minute. Sat on 15 points, mid-table, and as we've said many times before, they're normally right up there up until about February, March, aren't they? So unfortunately, it's time to go on to the final game of Super Sunday. West Ham 3, Liverpool 2. I'll just say West Ham dominated the midfield. I'd have done better for Liverpool than Ox would have. He's fucking dog shit. Andy Robertson. I love him. Don't get me wrong. I love Andy Robertson, mate. I've watched every YouTube video that he's ever been in, and he's an absolute baller. And what he's done for Liverpool over the years, he's been absolutely brilliant. No one can say that. But you can't keep playing him when he's not on the form he used to be. I think Klopp has got him as a favourite, and he's trying to think, he's done so well for us. He's one of the in the captain lineup, like he's in the captain group of Liverpool. But when you look at Simcast's performances for us, you've got to say that he deserves a chance, and maybe that will then spur Robbo want to play better. But there was a compilation that I saw literally before we hopped on this, mate, of his crosses against West Ham. Every single one just hitting the first man, or just poor, or just miss kick. And it's not even like it's just been the West Ham game. He's just not been up to it this season. I don't know why you think this is. I think maybe it's because he's burned out. Because when you think of how much he has played, and he's not been rested. Ox, piece of shit, mate. Our defense was shite.
I'll give you Region for Robertson right now. Straight to swap.
But yeah, just I don't know. I'll let you two boys talk about the game for a minute, and then I'll get back onto it. But before I do, should have been a red card, and it should have been a foul on Alisson. And do you know why I say that, right?
Oh, please.
No, because listen, I don't know if you remember this. We played United once, and Van Dijk impeded De Gea, didn't at all. Even Gary Neville, everybody said not a foul, but we didn't get given it. But apparently we're Liverpool. No, we're fucking not, mate. VAR hates us.
Oh my God, the Champions League.
Mate, just bollocks, mate. It's absolute bollocks. That first goal, I think,
complex,
really helped West Ham and allowed them to then just sit back, which, to be fair, you did defend really well. We didn't have any options to go anywhere. We couldn't really do or create anything, but it's hard when you've got players just sitting behind. And Declan Rice and Stoichek, mate, just fucking ran our midfield, mate. They were brilliant. So, well done, West Ham, I suppose.
Yeah. I'll let me just talk real quick.
Ahead,
I know you're gonna want to talk for a while, Joe, but I mean, fair play to West Ham. The goal, I'm fine giving it, but then it's just consistency, because you've seen that, like you said.
Yeah,
you see that taken away, and you can see it given. Like, I can see why it's given and whatnot. The Cresswell tackle, I don't think is a red, especially in the 7th minute of a match. It wasn't egregious.
Yeah, that shouldn't really affect it, but
it was high, but it wasn't like a ton of force on like the leg, like the Holgate one was, I would say. But fair play to West Ham. They are absolutely flying and are scoring goals.
It was a red.
I have to give shout out to Zoom. I mean, the man's just wonders in the box on headers. I wish Spurs had not only Zuma to head the ball in, but someone to kick corners at Lo Celso. But yeah, what a match for them.
First man every time.
It's a huge victory, and not only for West Ham, but for Liverpool, for Chelsea, for City in the title challenge.
Yeah, I mean, you guys both raised great points, and I'm going to try to be like pretty, I guess, objective in terms of my assessment here. I guess I'll mention the first goal. I agree with, I guess, I don't remember the Van Dijk challenge on De Gea. I thought I wouldn't be surprised. When it happened, I was not going to be surprised at all if it was ruled out, because obviously there was contact. I couldn't really tell from the angle, like if he jumped into him or was just jumping straight up and Alisson was coming into him. So in terms of that goal, like, I don't think there's really that much to say. And then
I do want to say in the U.S., I was watching in Canada. I was actually at my cousins in Canada, but the NBC sports commentators in the U.S., the color guy thought it shouldn't have been given, and he was saying that the entire time, and then it was given, and they were like, "Oh, the goal is given."
Yeah, they were saying that they wouldn't be surprised if it was ruled out. So I guess,
it was
we'll
Graham
take whatever
I'm
those.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever Graham
one of them that could go either way, and it's if it goes against your team, you're fucking fuming. If it goes for your team, then you say no, it should have been given. But yeah, like we said, consistency. But yeah, carry on, Joey, mate.
And Fu is right though about what'd you mention earlier about I'm having like slow brain day today. Just about it kind of like let us like settle more into the game, and it definitely took some pressure off of us and made us feel more comfortable. Just in regard to the Cresswell challenge, I mean, again, being objective, like what Josh said, like that early in the game, like obviously it shouldn't matter. Like if that Holgate challenge was done in the second minute, like that should still be just being like a purist, it should still be a red card.
I know,
so,
but it does.
I know what you mean. Like the ref, that's how the refs. But like obviously,
every
so
sport,
I understand that. And it was a weird challenge because he did get some of the. Please stop making excuses for your team's lackluster performance. But he did get some of the ball. But then I've never really seen a challenge like that where. And maybe I just haven't really watched that much football, but where like it's like a boot has like deflected so far and kind of like changed the trajectory of the tackle. But again, I guess that could have been given, that would have changed it. But two incidents I will say that like kind of even it out that haven't been spoken like about so much on like the mainstream media, I guess, like coverage of this match was. I'm not saying Jada's a dirty player, but if you look at when Ogbonna, like he's actually elbowed Ogbonna in the face, like, and maybe I'm reading into things, but his elbow is just totally flown out on him, and he's given him a bloody eye and bloody face. And then Henderson goes up to him and is like trying to act as if he's faking an injury. You can see it in the West Ham behind the scenes YouTube video. And then he starts to apologize as soon as he realizes he's bloody and needs stitches and is walking off the field. So, I mean, come on, Hendo. That's poor class. It's poor class. And then, honestly, if we look at the foul given on Salah for whoever they call it on Rice or Cresswell, I mean, you can't. I watched it about 100 times. It's very hard to tell if he gets stepped on or not. If he does, it's very minimal contact. And I mean, Craig Pawson, not to be confused with the massive center back Craig Dawson, was awful the whole game both ways, I think, and I think Fu would agree with that. But I mean, that was just such a phantom foul. And to be fair, I mean, great. Obviously, Trent and Salah have such a good understanding in terms of how to change that angle on a short free kick like that, and what a finish. But yeah, I mean, just I guess that's that was a foul. So if those decisions
not a foul at all. My dad was actually fuming about the foul, and then saw the free kick and was like, "Oh, how does Spurs not have anybody who can do that?"
Yeah, my dad actually said something too, and he's not even. I mean, he's a budding football fan. Let's put it that way. He didn't think it was a foul, but anyways, just to go over West Ham's performance. Actually, I thought Souček was good in terms of breaking stuff up, but I think in these games against bigger and better teams, you can see he lacks a little bit of like that technical quality, just like in terms of being able to get his head up and make that final pass through. And I think that's why Rice is so important for us, because when he actually intercepts the ball or makes a tackle, does whatever, he can actually send Fornals, Benrahma, or Antonio forward. And just in terms of talking about Liverpool's defense, I think Antonio said after the game, like, we were just trying to like attack anyone who wasn't Van Dijk. And you can honestly see that, like, Van Dijk was, I heard Liverpool fans complaining about his performance after the game. I thought he was brilliant. I thought he saved at least 2 to 3 goals by his own interventions.
One-on-one against Van Dijk, you're just not going to go anywhere. There was times where, like Antonio said, he thought, "Oh, I'm clean through here," but then he saw he was against Van Dijk, so he was like, "I'm going to have to pass it," because he knows he can't take him.
One time Antonio just tripped on his own feet.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but Van Dijk is really good.
I thought it was class. Like
he just is so good, especially in 1v1 situations, at just shepherding players.
People are just afraid of him. They're just afraid.
They are definitely afraid of him. It's a fear factor, and like, but I still think 99% of the time, if you try to take him on, you're probably not gonna like have a successful result. Yeah. But I mean, he is obviously class. But And then just speaking on the goals, I mean, Bowen, like he's just great at like getting the ball and running at people and attracting a couple defenders and then releasing someone through. Again, like Alisson probably could have done better on saving that.
Yeah. Alisson had a shocker.
Like, he wasn't great.
Obviously, I do think the first goal was a foul, but Alisson probably should have done better. And then for Zuma's header as well, mate, he's too fucking focused on Antonio.
There's not a lot of there's no defensive help. Zuma was able
Trent.
to
I mean, look at Trent on the back post. I mean, that's like
that is
Alisson.
Trent's fault. Like I'm not hating on Alisson. He had a shite game because I fucking love Alisson, and Alisson has earned the right to have a shite game because he saved Liverpool so many times, and he's a brilliant keeper. But for the third corner, well, your third goal, if you watch it back, mate, he's pretty much just pushing Antonio the whole time. Even when the ball's coming in, he's pushing Antonio instead of thinking, fuck Antonio, let's get my eye on the ball and get there to the back post quicker, mate, and just get a fist to it. Do you know what I mean? But he didn't do that. He dwelled on Antonio too much, and, you know, credit to Zuma, fucking smashed it in. He's a big cunt. He's ace. He's been brilliant for West Ham, it has to be said. What I do want to quickly say is on Souček, about his technicality. I just think the reason Souček is such a great midfielder as well, though, is just because he's so physical. Do you know what I mean? He's such a good presence to have in the midfield, and he's a big guy. Rice a big guy, whereas we had fucking little Fanny Ox who every time, sorry, it's getting me angry again. Just imagine it. Every time Ox got the ball, he did like a little two-step and then thought, nah, I'll just go back to the centre-back. I was like, mate, what the fuck are you doing, honestly? And then Thiago came on, made a couple good passes. I was like, okay. And then he gave it away about 19 times in a row. Yeah, thumbs up, Merchant.
Thumbs up.
But no, we will. I'm hopeful that we will soon see a Hendo, Thiago, and Fab midfield. That'll be the midfield I'd like to go against Arsenal. And I just think
who started the match again? It was Hendo,
Ox, and Fab. Yeah. But I just feel like, as a whole this season, Liverpool's defence have been very shaky. I mean, if you look at how many we've conceded already, it's fucking 11 in 11 games, which for Liverpool standards, with Van Dijk at the back, Matip, whatever. I would like to maybe see Van Dijk and Joe Gomez again. I don't know why we've not tried that. I think bring back that OG. Pop Simcast in left back, Trent at right back. Shout out, you know, obviously insane free kick. Got the assist for Origi, who I'm not too against anymore. I used to think, oh, get Origi out. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, he at the end of the day, he comes on and he gets a goal contribution. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he's a good sub to have around. He's never really going to break into the starting 11, but he is someone that can come off and be a goal threat.
He's fine. He's not trying to leave Liverpool to go anywhere else. He'll sit on the bench and take his chances.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm happy with Origi, but overall, just really disappointing to lose our unbeaten streak. And well done to West Ham, mate. You're looking fucking good this season.
Who wouldn't want to be West Ham? I mean, I think Joey's on an absolute flyer. They got Europa League's going great
24/7 right now.
One of the best starts if not best start in Premier League history. Am I wrong?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 7 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses.
Looking at the fixtures coming up. Oh baby, I'll be licking my lips. You got City and Chelsea. That's
I mean,
perfect as it gets.
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, obviously we have a bunch of fixture congestion. I think there's, you know, in the next 40 days, I think a lot of teams play at least like 10 league matches. So considering we still have those 10 league matches, one, you know, Carabao Cup match against Spurs, which obviously both teams are really going to want to win, just because, I mean, you know, neither team will want to lose that match because
Spurs,
you know, they're in
it's the Carabao
semifinals. Yeah, we'll see if you can even get a shot on target first. But yeah, we've just been we've been quality this year, and knock on wood, we've been lucky. Not a lot of big injuries, although actually Ogbonna did sustain an ACL injury in that match, which was when Salah kind of skinned him sort of a couple minutes before he went down with that bloody face or whatever. And he actually
literally breaking legs.
Yeah, man, he did. And but credit to him, he went on and played, and so I don't think he tore his ACL, but I think he'll be out at least for a couple of months. So that will hurt us because the understanding and partnership that him and Zuma were starting to develop was very good. So it'll be interesting to see if Dawson or Diop kind of gets that first spot for us. But just quickly on Liverpool's defense, and then also with Tsimikas, that Robertson relationship. So West Ham have sort of had a similar thing go on, because last year I think a lot of people remember Vladimir Sofal was very good for us both defensively, and he had around like 8, 9, or 10 assists, and just like was an absolute warrior and sustained himself like as like one of the first names on our team sheet, to be quite honest. And he got a couple injuries this year. I think was dealing with a little burnout from playing so many games last year, and then with the Czech Republic this summer. And so Ben Johnson, the 21-year-old, I know I've talked about him on this podcast, has stepped up, and it's been very good for Ben. But I wouldn't be surprised if later on this year Sofal comes back into form and back into the team and kind of reestablishes himself as that first team player. And I think like competition is healthy, so I don't think Klopp should be should be scared to rotate Tsimikas and Robertson, because it's just going to wake Robertson up more than anything and make him realize, I've got to have like, exceptional performances to be in this team. And so I think that's good. And then, or that's, I guess, just one of my observations and from the similarities of the team. And then just on Liverpool's defense, I think, Trent is so good going forward, and so is Robertson. So many times they push up so far up the pitch that you almost have to have another player next to Fabinho sitting in. And I think Henderson, when they get in that situation where they're behind a goal or two and Henderson wants to go forward with whoever that other attacking mid is, whether it's, Curtis Jones or Thiago or whomever it is, Oxlade-Chamberlain, they just kind of get caught out. Yeah. They just get caught out a little bit, and it's sort of like they missed that Wijnaldum like role. I mean, not sort of, it is. They clearly missed Wijnaldum. Like,
no, I'm sick of hearing this shit, mate. About what, like, not just you, mate, but whenever we win a game, nobody mentions Wijnaldum, whatever. As soon as we lose, we miss him so much. Like, we don't get me wrong. I love Wijnaldum as well. Think he was a fucker. I personally think he's a legend.
Yeah.
Rated him a lot, but there was many times last season in games where Wijnaldum would just be seen ball watching when we were conceding goals.
And you know better than me, so I trust you. But it's just,
the only thing I would say about Wijnaldum though is I don't think we've got a better midfielder now, and I don't think there's many better midfielders in the world that are that good at holding on to the ball. Like, very rarely would he ever lose possession. However, going the other way, I don't think he would have really. I mean, yeah, he would have made a difference in those games because I'd have made a difference instead of Ox. Do you know what I mean? Like, fucking anyone could have went in there instead of Ox, mate. And not just him. The whole team just seem a little bit off at the minute, other than the attackers. But yeah, this whole nonsense that we miss Wijnaldum, I don't believe. We do miss another midfielder, a quality one. Obviously, Hendo's getting on a bit now. Thiago is made of glass, unfortunately, it seems. And Fabinho does need the help. So whether in January we'll sign someone up, we'll see. And with regards to Trent and Robbo, I think they are good at one-on-one defending, and obviously Trent's brilliant at attacking. But
I don't think Trent is a good one-on-one defender at all. I think he's a rather subpar one, to be quite honest with you. I think if you looked at the stats, he would not be in the top half of the Premier League.
I think he's a good one-on-one defender, but what I don't think he's good at is when the ball gets crossed in back stick. I don't think he's good at dealing with stuff like that. That's very true.
Brentford overloaded him, yeah.
But there's a lot of times where players will run at him, mate, and when they're running at him, a lot of the times he can deal with it, and I think does well. But I just feel like whenever the ball's crossed into his back post, I'm worried, like, all the time, mate.
No, I hear you. I mean, I think a lot of the times we talked about it in a couple podcast episodes back. I mean, when you overload him or, put someone who's clearly physically bigger than him, it is hard. I mean, what's he going to do? And if you're, undercut them, it's going to be a penalty, a foul if they jump, or, it's just, I don't know. So there's got to be some sort of sinking in from that right midfield side, at least to communicate with him and help him, I guess, especially in the box. So, Salah's usually not going to be that deep, so there has to be somebody else there to help him. But Liverpool defense, clearly they need to sort things out, and I guess they play Arsenal, and after the international breaks, that's a massive fixture, and Arsenal will probably try to, I guess, expose that getting crosses in and flipping the field. So
yeah,
we'll definitely keep an eye out on that.
I think
before getting into trivia, I want to mention real quick today West Ham sold a minority stake to a Czech billionaire, right? Daniel Kretinsky. He owns like Sparta Prague.
He owns 40% stake in Sparta Prague, and he also owns like I think a fair amount of Royal Mail. So I mean, I guess he knows a bit of like I don't know, British business, but and he wants to establish some sort of club partnership with Sparta Prague, and actually
that's what Brentford do with Midtjylland.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm as much as so he bought a 27% stake, and apparently there might be a view for him to eventually buy a majority stake. So I guess I'm excited because I think he's richer than our current owners. But actually, Sparta Prague, since he's come in, they were like the dominant team in the Czech Republic for a very I think at least a decade, if not multiple decades. But they haven't been that hot since he's come in, and we haven't heard the best thing from their supporters about him. So I think I'm never really.
I'll quickly add it as a Brit. Royal Mail is fucking shite, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
They're a terrible delivery service.
Exactly. So, I mean, if he can't do parcels, he can't do, Czech football. How's he going to do, the biggest football league in the world? So, no, but I think I don't really know anybody who's like in any football supporter who's in love with their team's owner. But I think the eye is, I guess, is still out for, how well he's going to do at West Ham and how much investment he puts into the squad, the stadium. I mean, there's so many underlying problems at West Ham, but the results right now and the team on the pitch is really kind of covering up those cracks. So long may that continue, by the way. I've been a West Ham supporter for 7 or 8 years now, and this is by far like the best I've ever felt about watching our team and the most confident. So it's just really fun. And like, I don't take it for granted at all. So, cause you could easily just be the next Sunderland. So, it's really fun right now.
So basically, boys and girls and anybody listening to this, to summarize then, that final game, I think we all agree West Ham were lucky not to have a red card and a disallowed goal, and Liverpool very unlucky. But the moment you've all been waiting for, and the moment I've been waiting for as well, and Joey, to see how we do on this trivia then.
But you guys need to throw a $5 on this who gets more answers, right?
Joey's 100%, mate. I might as well fucking wipe my ass with that $5 because it's going to be gone.
All right. So what?
Wait. Let me. I need to pick one more team for biggest attendance.
Yeah. First question is the highest average attendance this season. What are the top 5 clubs?
Okay, I'll name my 5, and then Joey name his 5.
Yeah, number 1. Yeah, you go.
Oh shit! In order, I just did.
No, you don't do it. You don't need to do it in order, but you might as well try.
Like order is
All right, I'll try the order. I'll go number 1. I will go Spurs. No, that's wrong. But are they in the top 5 at least?
Yeah, just give your 5. Give your 5.
Give the 5.
So my 5 are Spurs, United, Arsenal, Anfield, Liverpool. And a bit of a weird outside shout just because they're doing well this season. I've gone Palace. I don't even know if Selhurst Park's big or not, but I thought, fuck it, Palace are doing well. Maybe everybody thought, fuck, let's go watch them.
All right, Joe.
Well, I'm gonna go on a not even limb. I think West Ham United have the highest average attendance this year.
Fucking
and then I have Manchester United, Tottenham, Arsenal, and Liverpool.
I forgot West Ham. West Ham over Palace. Sorry. Of course West Ham, mate. You're having the best season of your fucking life.
It's also just a huge stadium. So
yeah.
I'm getting these questions from fbref.com, which I think for the most part what I know is a very trustable site.
Top quality site.
Wikipedia,
so mate. I'm gonna take it as it is. Joey absolutely smashed it and got all 5 correct, incorrect order though.
Mate, that's bollocks because he spoke about that website on the last episode, so he's definitely been scrolling through it to fucking see what questions you're gonna ask.
Look at my history, mate. I just know ball.
So what?
United number 1. They have the
they hold like 75,000
so
something.
72K. Second, Arsenal 59K. Third, West Ham 57.9K. and then less than 100 behind is Spurs.
Yeah, I knew they were like neck and neck.
And then Liverpool, 52K. So
Wait,
United,
City not
Arsenal,
in the top 5? No,
City
Manchester City.
No fans, plastics.
Yeah, there we go. So I got 4 or 5 then. Fuck knows what I was thinking with Palace, mate. I just completely forgot about West Ham. I'll take 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't realise, by the way.
That was a great question.
I'll quickly hold my hands up. Yeah, it was a great question. I didn't realise it had to be in order. Otherwise, I would have thought about it. I just
it didn't.
Just try to name the bottom 5 here. What you guys try to get this in order also. Do
you want to go first, Joey?
Yeah, I'll lead it off. I think there's a theme with the bottom 5. I think 3 out of the 5 teams first initial starts with a B. So I'll go. I want to say Brentford have to be the smallest. Brentford, Norwich, Burnley, Watford, Brighton. That's my 5.
I have also gone Burnley, Brentford, and Norwich, and Watford. But
I don't know how big Brighton.
Yeah, but then I think Watford probably will have a big stadium because they've been in the Prem quite a lot. And then I also think as well, this team's got quite a big stadium, but I just feel like because they're doing quite shit, maybe, and I know their fans are a bit mad. I've also gone Villa, but I'm probably wrong.
All right, bottom 5, 1 Brentford, 16K. 2 Burnley, 18K. I'm pretty sure Burnley's the smallest town to have a Premier League club. 3rd lowest is Watford, 20K. 4th lowest is who's biggest? Palace, 24K.
Oh, Palace.
And then Norwich, 26K. I just don't think Selhurst Park is that big of a ground.
Oh, is that why? Do you know what? As soon as I said Palace, I saw you smile. I was like, they're defo bottom 5, aren't they? But I just thought maybe because Villa have been doing shite and Dean Smith got sacked, maybe there was no fans there.
I mean, Norwich, fair play to 26,000 Norwich fans who are going every week to go see them play. That takes a lot of guts. All right, on to the next question. What do these players have in common? Trevor Chalobah, Yohan Wissa, and Hwang Hee-chan. If you guys don't get it, I can give you a slight hint.
Is it to do with their goals?
It definitely has to do with their goals. It's a statistic. I'll give you that.
They all have more goals than fucking Spurs in the last however many seasons.
They do. But it's not that.
Yeah,
I think I know it.
Go on, Joey. What have you thought?
I said that they all scored on their Premier League debut.
I actually don't know. That could be correct. But you'll have to check on that. What I was going for and the stat I found is that these are the only 3 players in the Premier League this season that have 100% accuracy when their shot is on target that it's a goal. So
that's quality.
So Chalobah has 2 shots. They're both on target. They're both goals. Wissa has 3 shots, but only 2 of them were on target and both of them are goals.
Liverpool.
Chan has 8 shots. 4 on target, and all 4 were goals. So they have 100% accuracy when they put the ball on target.
Wow. Decent little fact to know that.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if this. Well, he's only played in 4 matches, and 2 of them he scored goals. So I have to see and look if.
Yeah, you have to check on that one.
I get half a point if that's true.
Yeah, sure.
I said it was to do with goals, so technically I get 0.75.
Nice shot on that. All right, what defender had the career path? Benfica, Valencia, Inter, and Juventus before coming to the Premier League. If you listen last week, you'll get a little bit of a hint.
I think I know who it is, to be honest. But
all right.
I don't know if they've played for Valencia and Inter. I know 100% they've played for Benfica, and I know they came from Juve. So that's how I just worked out. Yeah, João Cancelo, is it?
Yeah.
That right?
Yep, João Cancelo.
Yeah, man of the match from. I remember his FIFA Valencia card. I don't remember him at Inter really. He only must have been there for a year or so.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I know he came from Juve. So I was thinking
those are so fun. I love those.
I was thinking for a defender to come from Juve, he'd obviously probably go to a big team, and then I Cancelo popped in my head. And I remember him being at Benfica because of early days of FIFA. But I don't remember him at Valencia or Inter at all. But I just kind of worked it out through process of a limb.
Yeah. If you listened last week, then you'll know I had Luca Dean coming from Barcelona, a big club, to a small club, Everton. So it's not always the same. No, I know. Joey, I think he knew probably because he was making fun of me. I had Joe Arcancello 14-pointer on my fantasy bench. I think he realized after I read the question, he knew who it was. But
no, I didn't know right away. I was the Inter threw me off. Benfica to Valencia and Juve made sense, but I didn't know about the Inter or forgot about it.
All right, and the last
quality one though.
Last question in the theme of this international break: USA Mexico, massive World Cup qualifier in Cincy that Joey's going
be there
to
this weekend.
Which country has had more players feature in the Premier League?
I went Mexico.
I went with the US of A. I genuinely have no idea.
All right, this is an absolute shocker. I was surprised. I think I knew the answer, but I was not surprised to this extent. The U.S. has had 49 players play in a Premier League match. Mexico has had 10. How about that? How about that? Levels.
You know what, as well, yeah? Do you know how I was trying to work it out? I was like, how many Mexico players can name? How many US players? I could name wads of fucking American players.
Yeah.
I could only name like fucking 1, 2 fucking Mexicans, but I was like, I reckon he's threw it in there as a trick question, and you didn't.
So I brought some extra stats to back up why this is impressive. Not only because the United States almost quintupled their amount, but South Korea has had 14 people feature in a Premier League match. Mexico has had 10. Canada has had 11 people. Mexico has 10.
My days.
You know, I was thinking maybe it was US has a lot because it's English and in English in the UK, but Mexico is obviously speaks Spanish. Well, Ecuador, also a Spanish-speaking country, has had 11 people feature in the Premier League ahead of Mexico. And just to top it off, there has been 13 players who are French with their last name starting with A that have featured in the Premier League compared to Mexico's 10.
Fucking hell, there's a pub quiz question for you, innit? Knowledge. Yeah. So,
come on,
I well thought it was a trick question, but fucking hell, nearly 50. I could probably name, I reckon, about 10. I'm not going to, but yeah, I couldn't name any Mexicos. That's mad. And it was one of the other countries, not Ecuador, the other one.
South Korea, Canada.
South Korea. Canada, that's
Canada, that's mad.
Mate, off the top of my head, yeah, I don't know if I can name a Canadian Prem player. Literally, I don't think
I got one. I was just looking. Joey, could you name one? I got one because I saw the names.
I know
Alfonso Davis will be at City in about 4 years.
I know a bloke who's in a West Ham academy who was, I don't think he ever made a Premier League appearance.
So the one that I saw that people would know played for Burnley. Anybody able to shout?
Recently?
Doesn't play right now.
Mate, Burnley are fucking England FC, basically. They've only got English players pretty much, other than Cornet now. What? Canadian?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
I can't even name Canadian players.
Scott Arfield. He played for Burnley for a bit.
Never heard of him.
Did he not?
Never heard of him.
Did he not play for Bournemouth as well?
Yeah, he might have played for Bournemouth. I'll check right now. I played for Huddersfield, then Burnley, then he's at Rangers currently.
Right. Okay.
But the other Canadian, no one's gonna know any of the other Canadian.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think, mate. The bunch of nobodies. Just joking. I love Canada to all the Canadian listeners. Anyway, boys, fucking good episode. Plenty went on in it. Plenty of discussion, and the trivia. Let's long may it continue. I love the trivia, mate. Whether or not you want to keep doing it, Josh, is up to you. Personally, I think you do really good questions. Maybe try a different website because Joey's got that one bookmarked, so it's a bit unfair.
Mate, I think you ended up getting a lot of them right.
To be fair,
you got a couple at least.
I got 4 on both the stadiums, to be fair. So yeah, we'll take that. A pleasure. And like I said, boys, if you haven't listened to last week's episode with Josh, Joey, and Bryce, make sure you do. I personally really enjoyed it. Maybe it's just because I didn't have to hear my own voice, which was kind of nice. But yeah, boys, love this one as well. And we will be back after the international break. Liverpool face Arsenal. Do you boys want to quickly say who your teams have?
Spurs are playing nobody. They've regressed to the championship.
We play Wolves. I don't know if it's I think it might be at the Molineux.
Yeah, I think it might have like Brentford or one of those low teams, honestly. Spurs got Leeds. We got Leeds.
Is that home or away?
Watch out for the Rafinha show.
Wonder if they'll get a shot on target. 100 quid on them not to get another shot on target, mate. Fucking hell. Right. Anyway, boys, enjoy the rest of your night. This podcast you will all be listening on Thursday. So happy Thursday on whatever time you're listening, and happy whatever day of the week. As always, though, thank you, and thank you, Joey and Josh, for joining me, and we will see you after the break. Peace.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Bill.
Happy Veterans Day. Come on, the US.